A drop of magic beauty water can reshape not just your body, but your entire life. That unsettling promise once dazzled an unsuspecting woman named Han Yaiji, and what she found in that mysterious elixir was both genuinely miraculous and disturbingly grotesque. Fascination blended with horror as she became the victim of an extreme regime, forced to alter her appearance beyond all reason. Does that sound like a sensational urban legend? Not exactly. This is actually the premise of one of the most fascinating adaptations born from Korean creativity, a striking example that anime goes far beyond the genre boundaries we might expect. But what is really happening behind the scenes of these enthralling stories, and how do they compare to the powerhouse known as Solo Leveling? Today we will unravel the captivating secrets behind some of the best manhwa adaptations, from their hidden messages about body image and social acceptance to the powerful ways they challenge our assumptions about fantasy, romance, and everything in between. If you are itching to discover a world of Korean wonder that surpasses even the hype of Solo Leveling, then buckle up, because we will delve into a rich menu of incredibly diverse works. From timeless gothic vampires to modern-day tournaments that rewrite the rules of martial arts. In this episode, we will dive deep into the surprising romantic twist of Lost in Starlight, explore the comedic punches of Viral Hit, and even climb to the highest floors of the iconic Tower of God to show how these stories ignite our imagination in fresh and unexpected ways. We will check out some scorching questions too. Why might the horror of beauty water hit harder for some viewers than any conventional slasher? Could a centuries-old vampire named Cadis Atrama di Rizel in Noblesse actually be the funniest savior you never realized you needed? And what does a body-swapping fiasco in Lookism reveal about society's obsession with looks? By the end, we will have scrutinized each anime adaptation, from their riveting narratives, through the elements that set them apart, to their undeniable capacity to grip audiences across the globe. Will you join me as we journey into these extraordinary worlds? Let's begin. Let's talk about that most visceral example first. Beauty Water from the year 2020. Imagine a scenario where self-esteem meets a literal chemical concoction, promising that your wildest physical ideals can come true. You only need some drops of this bizarre formula, and your body is now clay ready for shaping. For Han Yaiji, a former ballerina turned makeup artist, the idea of rewriting her appearance seems like a golden ticket. But this miraculous new look comes at a horrifying cost, as the effect is as fleeting as it is demanding. Is the promise of ephemeral perfection worth the endless mental torture, the physical mutilation, and the creeping paranoia that you will never turn back into your old self? Yes, it might remind you of certain psychological thrillers. Some fans even liken it to Satoshi Kon's surreal explorations in Perfect Blue, but with an even more literal and gory take on the body horror looming at its core. There is a real sting in seeing the transformation wrought upon Yaiji's life. It draws parallels to modern social media obsessions, the never-ending pursuit of approval or beauty, the fear of losing your fleeting popularity the moment your image is tarnished. Viewers can witness how deeply the illusions of superficial acceptance cut into a person's soul, and that is precisely why Beauty Water stands out among the titles adapted from manhwa. The unsettling undertones do not hold back, even when it feels like your own stomach might be turning. And if, so far, you find yourself intrigued by this thriller's dark premise, perhaps you should hit the like button right now to let us know we are on the right track. Next, let us ascend from the shadows of horror into a world where an all-powerful vampire just woke up after 800 years of slumber, Noblesse. Adapted in the year 2020, this anime reintroduces the classic vampire concept with a twist that sneaks up on you, a serious level of comedic charm from the protagonist. Cadis Atrama di Rizel, or simply Rai, sets out to unravel the conspiracy behind his abrupt awakening. Yet, ironically, he can barely figure out how to peel a banana. Yes, you read that correctly. Despite his supernatural might, a trivial breakfast scenario leaves him clueless. Yet, that is precisely part of the joy. The comedic element balances out the dangers of a world that has advanced centuries while Rai slept in a coffin, lending Noblesse a surprisingly light-hearted air, even while the story plunges into the depths of manipulated vampires and shady organizations. By stepping into modern times, Noblesse spins a comedic dimension into its manhwa roots. Picture a monster with enough power to level entire armies reduced to fiddling with modern technology, twisting ramen packaging around in confusion. Of course, beneath the surface of these comedic interludes, there is a more sinister undercurrent. A secret group manipulates new artificial vampires, and tensions escalate as they sense rise unrivaled nobility prowling the realms of humankind. The result is a delightful blend of slice-of-life humor, breathtaking combat, and an undercurrent of mystery. Even with the leaner pace of the anime version, Noblesse's adaptation still packs enough charm, especially if you have never experienced the original manhwa. That said, we cannot talk about a blazing adaptation without bringing up the God of High School, also hailing from the year 2020. Sometimes likened to an even more frenzied Dragon Ball, this adaptation features Mori Jin, who has one obsession above all else: fighting. For him, life is an endless martial arts match, with his comedic grin never wavering despite the fact that he is up against borderline superhuman foes. The big twist? Competitors have the ability to borrow powers from legendary figures, forging a unique style of supernatural martial arts that sets the God of High School apart from standard brawlers. Throw in the promise of a wish granted to the victor, and you have a tournament that escalates so rapidly you can barely catch your breath. In the anime adaptation by MAPPA, the fights leap off the screen with a flourish of bright colors and dynamic movement. Yet some fans lament that the story was compressed, skipping important build-ups from the manhwa that elevated the emotional stakes. Even so, the breakneck pace of the anime can be thrilling if you want unstoppable action that does not let up for a moment. Its success reaffirms that the synergy between Korean stories and Japanese animation has become a growing phenomenon, especially if it is done with the right passion and style. And if you are still intrigued by these top-tier, pulse-racing battles, consider subscribing so you do not miss future deep dives into upcoming manhwa-based adaptations. Let's shift gears again and welcome a wholly different genre, Lost in Starlight, poised for release in 2025. This lovely story breaks away from the intense fighting and swirling conspiracies. Instead, it invites us to reflect on the tender romance converging between an aspiring astronaut and a musician. Nan Young, the protagonist, faces a painful rejection from the Mars expedition program, fueling deep doubts about her future. As if guided by destiny, she meets Jay, a gifted musician, and soon finds that personal growth illuminates new perspectives on her dream to venture into space. The story is more than just starry-eyed wonder, though. Nan Young's heartbreak from losing a chance to visit Mars resonates with anyone who has felt their carefully nurtured ambitions unravel in front of them. When the flame of hope reignites and she dares to reapply, we see how the crucial support from loved ones and a mix of self-belief can transform an apparent failure into a second wind. The film's anticipated Ghibli-like art style only amplifies the sense of wonder. Vibrant yet gentle in its color palette, Lost in Starlight channels a sweet sincerity that seems to echo the very nature of the cosmos. Beyond just the relationship, it urges us to reflect on how fleeting and precious these big opportunities are, and how sometimes it takes the emotional encouragement of those we hold dear to keep fueling our cosmic dreams. Indeed, it is not your everyday action romp, but rather a delicate tapestry of romance and perseverance that proves the versatility of Korean-inspired animation. But life is anything but sweet for Yu Hobin in viral hit. Scheduled to make its anime splash in 2024, this comedic spin on delinquent drama and influencer culture puts an entirely new spin on the phrase, "take the hits." After a humiliating scuffle is caught on camera, Yu Hobin realizes that the resulting online popularity can be milked for all it is worth. His accidental climb to internet stardom hinges on martial arts clicks, so why not orchestrate more live fights to thrill viewers and keep them glued to his channel? Yet, it is not all about turning himself into a punching bag. Viral Hit evolves as Yu Hobin trains to disarm bullies, gather new skills, and exploit the bizarre allure of watching people win or lose in brutal scuffles. Interestingly, the adaptation apparently stays quite true to the comedic spirit of the manhwa. The question we might ask is, does it glamorize violence or highlight the absurd extent of what social media mania can push us to do? One could argue it does a little of both, offering commentary on how a thirst for popularity might lead to near masochistic stunts, or, conversely, how it can empower an underdog. It is also a puzzle that resonates with many real-world streamers, who come across the collision between performance art and personal dignity. Perhaps that is the charm behind this adaptation. It forces you to examine the boundaries that separate authenticity from stage spectacle. From comedic fights to sweet mini-episodes that revolve around budding love, let's explore A Day Before Us from the year 2018, created by Lico and Red Dog Culture House. Sometimes a sweeping saga or intense battle story is the last thing we want after a stressful day. We might prefer a series of gentle slices of life, each episode only a handful of minutes long, that revolve around a group of college friends discovering the warmth of everyday companionship. Ha Eun is our wide-eyed protagonist, initially caught in a fateful meeting with a classmate under the drizzle of a rainstorm. Though their chit-chat is awkward, especially when the soggy awning collapses above them, the gentle tension is pure gold. What follows is a slow, comforting depiction of daily interactions, shared meals, brief moments of eye contact, and that subtle ache of blossoming hearts too shy to confess their emotions. Instead of adversaries with cosmic powers, we get the very real battles of navigating social cues. The producer's art style is reminiscent of soft oil paintings. The colors radiate a pastel glow, transforming each short web episode into a tranquil lullaby for the eyes. Indeed, these short episodes serve as a testament to the incredible diversity that Korean stories can deliver, proving that manhwa adaptations are not limited to epic fights or outlandish conspiracies. Still, if you are craving a romantic fantasy with complicated layers, behold Why Raeliana Ended Up at the Duke's Mansion from the year 2023. Raeliana is not just your everyday protagonist. She is a woman reborn into the pages of a novel she once read as a bystander in modern life. This fresh start sounds like a dream, right? Well, not quite, because she is in the body of Raeliana, a side character fated to die at the hands of her fiancé. Suddenly, survival instincts kick in. Raeliana must rewrite the novel's events to avoid her grim fate, forging an uneasy alliance with the influential Duke Noah Volstaire Wingnight. A subtle game of wit unfurls, filled with banter, hidden motives, and bold strategies as Raeliana tries to outmaneuver the doom that the original plot designed for her. Readers of the manhwa have long admired its good mix of humor, romance, and just the right dash of intrigue, while the anime adaptation brilliantly showcases these elements in rich color and motion. After all, the comedic premise of a character trying to negotiate her life like a chessboard in front of an aloof duke is quite thrilling. Their partnership grows tangled in feelings that neither can easily admit, unsaid confession hidden behind smirks and feigned obligations. And that is where it truly stands out. It is not simply an epic quest or a comedic fling, but rather a well-balanced drama of survival. But perhaps you want something more cosmic in scale, climbing a mythical tower that grants the greatest wish at the top. Is that intriguing enough? Then, Tower of God from the year 2020 might be your next obsession. The story starts unforgettably with Rachel, who has always longed to see the stars. In that tower, a single wish can be granted to whomever ascends its highest floor. But that dream does not leave room for two to share it, and Rachel heartlessly thrusts Bam, her only friend, into the abyss to go on alone. The betrayal is immediate, and the entire premise is established within the very first moments, that this tower fosters an environment where the desires and treacheries of participants can run wild. What follows is an exploration of an almost endless labyrinth of floors. Each stage brims with new rules, monstrous creatures, and labyrinthine trials that test the mettle of challengers. The manhwa of Tower of God is practically a modern classic on the Webtoon platform, praised for its intricate world-building and the psychological layers that shape its characters' alliances and betrayals. Where the anime might have moved a bit quickly, it still captured the hearts of countless new fans, many of whom were left gobsmacked by Rachel's shocking act. More advanced arcs delve into the political tensions between the tower's authoritarian guardians, the emergence of new powers, and the unraveling secrets behind Bam's mysterious origins. The second season faced some criticism for skipping certain details, but that certainly has not stopped fans from hungering for more. Tower of God proves that manhwa-based productions can stand toe-to-toe with top-tier anime from any corner of the world. Now, if you crave something bittersweet and grounded in heartbreak, you might find Mignon from the year 2023 a surprising gem. Presented in short 5-minute episodes, it seamlessly interweaves a forbidden romance with a gritty underground boxing ring. The titular boxer, Mignon, has his sights set not on fame or fortune, but on the stoic resident doctor, O Young One. There is a fragile refuge in their quiet moments, a stark contrast to the blood-stained chaos of the ring. But behind that gentle relief, darker secrets loom. Mignon is an underdog on multiple levels, and as we gradually uncover his perilous affiliations, the story evokes a poignant fear that these two might never have a chance for peace. What makes Mignon stand out is its tone, soft, almost feathery in its watercolor-like visuals, yet sharpened by the brutal punches that come from the ring. It is something of a paradox, capturing an unlikely love story while violence and secrecy tighten their deadly embrace. This kind of emotional push and pull keeps viewers on edge. You want to see them own their happiness, but each episode hints at new obstacles that raise the stakes. Although short, it is the kind of show whose heartbreak can leave you reeling long after the final credits roll. Truly, Mignon is a sterling reminder that romance set in a harsh environment can be heartbreakingly beautiful, especially when it offers no guarantees of a classic happily ever after. Finally, it is time to address a phenomenon that exploded onto Netflix, Lookism, from the year 2022. Yoo Hyun-seok, or Park Hyung-suk in some translations, has endured a lifetime of cruel bullying due to his overweight and unattractive appearance. That changes overnight when he wakes up in a brand new body that is lean, muscular, and quite stunning. The catch? His old body still exists, dozing beside him like a forgotten husk. So begins a bizarre double life. By day, he can slip into the handsome vessel, navigate high school with a confidence he never knew, and revel in the shallow acceptance of his peers. At night, the old him returns, exhausted, all too aware that the world remains quietly brutal to those who do not meet conventional beauty standards. Lookism unpacks society's obsession with appearances, shining a glaring spotlight on how quickly people judge or discard those who do not match a certain mold. What is equally surprising is how it never morphs into a tale of pure vanity. Hyung-suk refuses to dismiss his original body as worthless. Instead, the story evolves to show him championing other underdogs and rediscovering a sense of self-worth, with or without being a perfect specimen. The anime adaptation, produced by Studio Mir, captures that moral crux with strong vibrancy, frequently weaving comedic sequences with weighty commentary on shallow judgments and outcast isolation. The fact that it is so relatable, who has not felt judged by their appearance at one point in life, makes Lookism an essential watch that resonates far beyond its comedic or supernatural surface. Across these journeys, a common thread weaves them together: the capacity for manhwa-based stories to range from terrifying body horror to comedic vampire antics, from raw romantic longing to unstoppable tournament arcs. The cultural meeting point between Korean concepts and Japanese anime production yields new frontiers for fans who might have once dismissed manhwa as an afterthought or a mere cousin to manga. In reality, these works expand the tapestry of creative storytelling, confronting us with daring commentary on social norms, just as often as they enthrall us with high-octane fight scenes or heartwarming, tear-jerking romance. Some of these adaptations, such as The God of High School, catapult us into the realm of supernatural battles. Others, like Lost in Starlight, gently cradle us in a sweet love story brimming with cosmic wonder and heartbreak. Meanwhile, why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's mansion beckons us toward the strategic teeter-totter between scripted fate and free will. And Mignon reminds us that love's fragility can flourish in the darkest corners of an underground boxing scene. Each of these anime embodies a unique glimpse at the potential that arises when a Korean webcomic or web novel crosses mediums and comes to life in a new dimension. For many viewers, these adaptations open the door to discovering the original manhwa themselves. After seeing a brilliant fight in The God of High School's anime, you might think, I need to see how the manhwa portrays that intense scene. Once you have done so, you see whole new angles that the anime might have skipped. This cross-pollination, from page to screen and back, is why these projects continue to wave the banner of creativity. Is Solo Leveling still a grand masterpiece among these, spearheading the hype for manhwa-based anime? Arguably, yes. It is thrilling and near unbeatable in terms of overpowered fantasy. But the world of Korean tales does not end in one hyper-successful adaptation. The nuanced extremes we see, from the body horror cautionary tale of Beauty Water to the comedic fiasco of a powerful vampire in Noblesse, prove that manhwa and hanguk, aini alike, can cater to a sweeping range of tastes. It is an industry blossoming with fresh possibilities, one that invites you to look beyond what you already know about anime's usual tropes. And so, we end on a note of hope and celebration for the future. More streaming platforms are noticing the potential of manhwa-based adaptations, fueling artists and directors who wish to push boundaries even further. With each new story, we open the door for unconventional narratives, new art styles, and poignant messages that stay with us long after the last episode. If you stuck with me until now, that shows you have a genuine curiosity for these mesmerizing worlds, and I urge you to keep exploring them. The next gem, the next breathtaking horror, or the next heart-stopping romance might just be around the corner. Thank you for immersing yourself in this journey across the best manhwa adaptations. And here is hoping these stories continue to spark your imagination for years to come.